Check, check, check. Hello. It's been a while. Get into it. Get into it. Get into it. You're here. It ain't even a thing. It's just talking to the people you know. Hey, I've been a YouTuber for a whole year. After being a YouTuber for a year, here are some notes that I have to take away from my first year of being a full-time YouTuber and really investing my time into the platform. I'm going to tell you 5 things I've learned from being a YouTuber full time for a year. Also, hey, my name is Cam Hayden. I am a YouTuber here on YouTube. That's redundant. I usually talk about content that is based around philosophy or based around current events. Going forward, I'm probably just going to make more videos about philosophy, movies, entertainment, and the things that I find really, really passionate or like find myself being really, really passionate about. If you like those things or if you have ideas of what I should do, let me know down in the comments. But without further ado, I'm going to tell you 5 things I've learned this year of doing YouTube full time. So at the start of last year, 2024, I decided that I wanted to be a YouTuber full time. I wanted to make it my career. I wanted to invest my whole self into it and I hit the ground running. I was doing really, really good. 2 videos a week for a few like months. And then I hit kind of a wall. I decided that the one of the 2 videos that I was making weren't that interesting to me. Not that they weren't necessary, but they didn't fuel me with the most passion. And so, with that, I decided to just push on with making the one type of video while I tried to figure out something new. And I tested many things like doing news coverage because I have a background in journalism. I went to school for journalism. I tried concept videos. I tried poetry, and all of these things never really felt quite right to me. I started to realize that one of the biggest things here is that you have to be really, really passionate about the things that you are going to put on this platform. If you are trying to treat this like a career, yes, you want to make things that appeal to other people, but you also want to make things that appeal to you. You want things that like feel good for yourself personally because people can see it, they can feel it, they can see it through the little screen on their phone or their laptop or their iPad or wherever you're viewing this from. You can feel whenever somebody's really not into something. And with that being known, you have to understand that, like, even if you're just on here talking about some short story you read or an essay that made you feel a certain way, or a book that you read, or a movie that you saw, or a game that you played, or if you are talking about politics, then you're talking about politics. Or if you're talking about social media, you're talking about social media. Regardless of what the thing is, people need to see that passion in it. It makes talking about the things much easier and it makes being involved in that situation a lot better for yourself. It makes you want to make these videos. With all of that being said, let's go into the first thing I learned. The first thing I learned is that consistency is not only important, it helps you prevent burnout. Many people that are following me on this channel don't actually know that my first introduction to making content was making poems on TikTok. It got me relatively popular and I enjoyed it. I'd always been kind of shy about displaying my poetry and I went on TikTok one day and was like, I kind of just want to figure out if I can make the platform work for me. I love making content and also I just like making poems and I think I'm pretty good at it, but maybe I'm not that good and there's only one way to really find out. And so I started to post poems. I decided I would just challenge myself. I make music. And so outside of it, I was like, I'm looking for new inspiration. Why don't I do something that feels musical but isn't? Why don't I just make 30 poems, one poem a day for 30 days, just to match with the effort that I wanted for myself? At the end of the 30 days, I had about 30,000 something followers on TikTok. It was crazy to me. I didn't know that people would expect or like my poetry as much as they did. It was really cool to me. And the other thing that I noticed looking back now is that the consistency was always there. People knew exactly what to expect when they got there. They knew that they would get a poem, they knew how the poem would be set up, and they knew that the poem would either make them sad, happy, make them remember something, make them ponder, or make them think about philosophical themes, which kind of trickled into me wanting to do a YouTube channel. The reason I'm even bringing this up is not to gloat, but it's to say that My success on TikTok really narrowed down to me being so consistent and me being consistent and not making it feel like it had to be done, but rather it was a treat to do it, made that consistency that much better. So as I did it, it was like, cool, I get to do this. This is going to be cool. I love this poem. Maybe I don't really like this poem as much, but regardless, I'm putting it out. People know that it's coming today. They know that sometime today it's coming. I didn't really put like a time frame on it. I was just kind of like, these are some good times that it seems like would be to post because people will either be at work or at lunch or at home. And I would post and I would like the harshest time limit I gave myself was that like I had to post it before 10 p.m. at night just so that like people were still on TikTok and able to see it. And I wanted it to be done by the day rather than the night of that day. I wanted the limit to be like midnight was too late. But I think in finding consistency in that, I also realized that I wasn't getting burnt out. I just kind of was like, this is enjoyable. I love the pace that I'm going at. And yes, a video a day can be cumbersome. So find your pacing, but then find your pacing that allows you to be consistent. So for me, I have come to the realization that 2 videos a week on YouTube while trying to figure out which other lane I want to be in maybe might be a little excessive. And instead, I should be focusing on at least just putting out 1 video a week and then grow from there. Or if there are 2 videos a week, maybe just stay with the same type of topical information where I'm reviewing a book or talking about my experience with a movie and a TV show and a book, or talking about whatever random societal thing is going on, like planned obsolescence, and keeping in consistency with that rather than trying to grow outside of that and do everything all at once. It's not just the consistency of showing up every day, it is also the consistency within yourself of just allowing yourself to go, this is all I have to make. This is all I have to do. Once it's done, I can worry about it next week. The second thing I learned is that you're probably thinking too hard. You just have to worry about making the best video you can in the time given. This ties really well into the consistency thing. It's not only about giving yourself the tools to say, I'm going to put this out. It's going to be this type of video every week at whatever day you want to, or at least just every week, I'm going to put a video out. It's also about going, I want to make this video and set. It's weird because maybe you didn't really like school, but honestly, due dates help a lot of people. It's really surprising when you give yourself a little due date and you're like, yeah, every video is due on, I don't know, Thursday. And you're like, this Thursday, we're doing a video on Thursday. It'll be great. And you do that every Thursday. You are prepared with a video ready and it's uploaded and you're done. Start planning around the idea that I have this much time and I need to do the video by this time. And by doing that, it makes you kind of like be able to like start building a system around making a video. Perhaps now your videos aren't just like, oh, here I'm going to talk. Maybe you start scripting. Maybe you don't start scripting, but you block out a few things so you know these are the topical points I have to hit. Maybe you find that it's easier for you to just free flow and literally just yap into the camera. And it helps you so much, and you are able to ace the thing. And you find out that that's the best way for you to do it without overthinking, without planning too much. That's how you get your videos out in an efficient and fast pace. Maybe that's the case. And if it is, fire, do that. But by giving yourself that little time frame and saying at the end of this time frame, by the time the video is up, the next video can be better. You look at your systems, you look at what you did last week, and you're like, okay, I did this and I did this and it didn't really work and it kind of made the video a little worse. Or I edited it this way and I edited it this way and I didn't really like that. Or I didn't find enjoyment in the way that I took my angles for this video. You change that. And next week, your video can look completely different. It's not going to look that different. You're literally going to make like minute changes, and that's all that's really going to happen. But those minute changes will compound into you finding the thing that fits the best for you. And that's what's really important. One of the next things I learned is that try not to assume what people want from you. Just try everything and find out what sticks and what works for you and the audience. It's really funny. A lot of my friends have kind of just been like, I love your YouTube videos. I also think it's very interesting that like your YouTube videos remind me of like X person or other person. And I'm like, that's interesting because that's not where I perceive my videos at, but it is cool to see. And then I went out and I tried to do a video in a similar fashion and was met with success. So then I learned, oh, I can just do videos kind of like this where I just talk and I don't really need a script. And I just go off of bullet points of talking things where I know I can talk about these things because I already know them and I'm passionate about and I want to get the information out anyway. Because me as a person, I just kind of like have a lot of questions and I have a lot of answers. And for some videos, like the videos where I talk about like planned obsolescence, it's probably better that I do have a script. It's very interesting. I do research. I use my skills in journalism to do an expose on the things that like most people probably don't know about. And if people do know about, maybe they just want to be in the comment section to be like, I really appreciate that you even made a video about this because everybody doesn't make a video about these things. And so I think it's interesting to like watch and see that like there is an ebb and flow in all of this. And I think it's really important to not hinder yourself. I know a lot of people are going to tell you to niche down, and I don't think that's really important when you start to. I think your most important thing when you start YouTube is to figure out what you like to make, what you like to make, what your audience likes to see from you, and then find a good in between and all of that so that you can make things that you're passionate about and your audience can see things that you're passionate about. So I implore you, do the thing, but also do the thing in a way that like feels right. The fourth thing that I've learned, this is probably one of the more important ones. You got to get organized. It helps a lot more than you would think. I am personally a like naturally organized person. But even being a naturally organized person, I came to the understanding that you need like organizational systems in order to facilitate a better YouTube experience for yourself. When it comes down to editing, I don't have the money to hire an editor, so I'm editing my own videos. And in editing my own videos, I have friends who are editors for YouTubers and content creators. And so I speak to them and they're like, hey, easiest thing for you is to just set up a system that works for you, that you can build off of, that like streamlines your editing. Let your editing process not take the entire day because my editing process at the start took the entire day. And given my friend did point out that part of the problem was I was using DaVinci Resolve, and that's not like necessarily an entry level understanding of editing. It's like film standard. And that's not probably the best place to start, but I'm already efficient enough in it. So now it doesn't really matter. But in it, it's like you have to understand that you need to build these systems in order to say if you're writing a script, you have to schedule out time so that you're going to write that script because you if you don't schedule out the time, you're just going to let your whim take you whenever it will, and then you probably won't write the script. I've done this many times, and sometimes I've been held back on writing a script because I simply was like, I can't find the right words to finish a script. And even in that, by having a more organized system, it made writing the script that I needed to write. I, it's a part of that step that I gave in the second sequence where it's kind of just like you give yourself a time frame. You organize these things down because most of this list is just you organizing, but you organize these things down. You give yourself a time limit, a time frame in which you have to accomplish the goal that you have set out. It makes for a better pace of creating videos. It makes you more efficient. It makes things so much more fun. It keeps you from feeling bogged down and it honestly stops you from having to deal with so much burnout. The more organized you are as a YouTuber, the better things will be. Whether that be organizing random sounds that you know that you're probably going to want to use in a continuation that like have to do with your channel, cool. Throw that in a folder in your laptop or wherever you're keeping things that you're editing. Just create a space where it just gets held. Label it for YouTube. It's there now. Anytime you need that sound, you go directly there. You don't have to search. Maybe there's like memes that you're always going to use or you want to use frequently because they're like the thing that you want to use right now. Throw those in a folder, put them in the same like space where the YouTube sounds are. Now I like exclusively have a folder for YouTube videos that are in progress. I have a labeling system. I have the YouTube sounds that I'm going to use and like anything that I've created to like make my YouTube process a lot more interesting. Whatever the case may be, it's always really good to be organized, especially when being a YouTuber, it makes this thing so easy. The concept is you're your own boss. And so like whether it's organized or not, or it's like minorly organized, whatever degree that you adjust things for yourself, whatever way you work best is going to be affected by your organization. The fifth thing that I came to the realization of, plan ahead. If you really want to make YouTube a career, it's kind of funny because sometimes it's like, yeah, do you want to make a video every week? Or do you want to be prepared to have like a few videos on hand that you can post whenever you're like, oh, I want to take a vacation from all the work that you're doing? You're doing a job, you're working so much. Give yourself vacation hours. Like, you're your own boss. Let yourself have time off. Don't make it so that you're always on. Don't make it so that you leave the job that you're working at and then you are busy beyond belief all the time and have no work life balance. A lot of the times, people are starting YouTube channels because they want the freedom. Give yourself the freedom. Make it so that you're planned, you're ready, and you know that if you want to take, I don't know, use this as a random example. I want to take a trip this year to Japan with one of my really good friends. We're gonna go, and my plan is, yeah, I want to make videos while I'm in Japan, but I also want videos to release while I'm in Japan so that I don't have to worry about not having videos and rushing while I'm on my trip and enjoying my trip to edit down anything that I need to edit down. I want to be able to actually take the time to build out videos. And knowing that I want to make certain videos the way I want to make them, like going to Japan and making an expose video about whatever sort of subculture I might like find interest in when I get there. I've I've lived in Japan before, but I like maybe I run into something and I find so much interest in it and I want to do a deep dive into it and I want to get journalistic about it. With that comes a lot of time and a lot of research. That's cool, but I need to be planned ahead so that that way, in the meantime, while I'm researching, my audience isn't like, "Yo, where have you been?" And I'm just like posting a random one-off picture like I'm in Japan. Like, it's cool, it's mysterious, but also these people come to support you. Don't leave them hanging. Give them something while you work on the next thing. Don't make it so that you are overburdened. That's like the bigger part of this. It's both about your audience and it's about you. You're making a career. Make your career better than the place you came from. Make it so that you have time off. Make it so that you have the ability to be like, I don't feel good this week. I'm going to take the week off. And you have that extra video ready to be like, posting this if you want. You can literally post the video and be like, this week I'm sick, this might be an older video, might be a little dated. You can tell your audience, hey, I'm sick, but here's a video in the meantime, new whatever is coming next week. Like, you don't always have to be like, I'm making a video every single week, doesn't really matter. Have a backlog. And this isn't a do as I say, not as I do thing. This is a do as I say because I'm also going to do as I say thing. Going forward, I want to be more intentional. I want YouTube to be my career. I have learned that over a number of things that have happened in the last year, both good and bad. And by knowing that I want YouTube to be my full time career, it means that I need to take it more seriously. I have a lot of really good friends who are already doing well in YouTube, and they're just like, yo, you should be here with me by now. And I understand why they're like that because they're like, I get it. They see because they were already here and they're like, I get it. But at the same time, they're like, here's a light nudge, man. Come on. And I don't want to be back here anymore. I mean, it's cool to be back here, but I don't want to be back here anymore. I want to be up there with them, with my guy and my girls and my theys and my thems. Anyways, I'm Cam Hayden. This is my YouTube channel. If you'd like to join me on the journey of continuing to power through and making an effort to really just change the status quo of my life, talking about philosophy, talking about books, talking about movies, talking about occasionally like whatever's going on culturally, because those are also important themes, then please subscribe to this channel, like, comment, let me know down below that you're here to come on this journey with me. I don't know how well this video will do. Maybe it gets 20 views. Maybe it gets 1,000. We literally don't know. And I don't know if I care because I think that this video has value. And I think that somebody will find value in it that needed to see this video. And that's really the most important thing. So with all of that being said, I will see you guys in the next video. Later.